Hello and welcome to an unusual episode of Medieval Guy. There is a regular episode coming out very soon, but I had these ideas that I wanted to discuss in the episode that didn't come across right without a real-world example. So today I'm out here with my bow and my arrows and my target to just demonstrate something really quickly. Normally, what we do in Medieval Guy is take real-world concepts and bring them into Runescape and see how they match up. But today, I actually wanted to do something different because of this idea that I had. And that was trying to demonstrate one part of the combat triangle, which is the melee versus ranged. Okay, now we all know that a ranged character in RuneScape loses to a melee character every time, right? I don't have a spellbook on me. I think I left it in my other pants, so I can't exactly test that part of the combat triangle, but it's fine. That's devil magic anyway. I don't want to use it. But as far as the ranged versus melee, from a historical standpoint, did you ever have a situation where a dude with a bow and a guy in plate armor were standing, looking at each other and going, hey, I gotta kill that guy, let me go run at him, or let me shoot at him? Yeah, sure, somewhere in history that happened, right? Some guy was scouting in the woods and he was an archer, and some guy was scouting in the woods and he had a sword on him, and they fought somewhere, maybe, right? But as far as like actual combat goes, most medieval combat was done in the formal style, right? The style that we romanticize today of two big lines, going up against one another and bashing each other in with shields, and it looks very different in reality. You know, don't take Lord of the Rings or Braveheart or anything as biblical texts, right? I mean, they're ridiculous, right? It wasn't some mad melee with thousands of people dying. It was a very controlled tactical maneuver with people with incredible amounts of martial experience trying to rout their opponents to take over land, because that's how you won battles. You didn't win with kills, you won by taking land. Okay, so the entire concept of some guy with a bow shooting at some guy with plate armor, yeah, the guy with the bow is going to lose every time. And what I'm going to show you today, one of the reasons why in RuneScape, the distance for the rapid fire option is 7 squares, and the long distance is 10 squares. So it actually increases by 2, so it's 9, and then it can go up to 10, to a maximum of 10, depending on the weapon. But it's anywhere from 7 to 10. So let me just show you real quick. This is about 7 meters to that target. Okay, so I'm just going to switch my camera here. As you can tell, 7 meters is not very far. It's about 7 paces. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Now, I have short legs, so that was 7.5 for me. But I have measured this out to 7 meters right about here. So yeah, this is not a far distance. If some guy with a sword wanted to hurt me, he would do so very quickly and very easily. Now, as far as accuracy goes, that's also a little silly. The difference between hitting him from here and hitting him from here, which is 10 yards, is negligible. There's no difference. Now, for an example of a distance that does make sense, we have to come out to 30 yards at least. Medieval combat was extremely close when there were two lines actually, hitting each other, but until that happened, ranged combat was done at fairly extreme distances, anywhere from 30 to 40 to up to 100 yards away. So I'm out here at 30-ish yards, maybe a little more. Unfortunately, this is the furthest that I can go, both confidently with my with my shots and because I don't want to walk off the edge of my property. So I'm just going to take a couple of shots from here and show you what that looks like. Alright, so having determined that hitting a man-sized target from realistic distances with a completely bare bow. There's no aiming equipment here. There's nothing to help me. As a novice archer, hitting something like that is not difficult. So what's the deal with the 7 and 10 meter issues? Well, that's a limitation of the game. In RuneScape, you don't have a lot of render distance. And as a result, the game is forced to make a decision. Are we going to include ranged combat and what's it going to look like? So they give you the benefit of hitting from behind, obstacles and whatnot. That helps in really only PVM content, right? You can shoot at monsters who are too dumb to move around, but another player will easily attack you. And this is where magic comes into play. And this is where I think an informed example of history gives you a really cool kind of interaction. If an archer had the opportunity to entangle their opponent in a magical web of spider silk or in vines that came up out of the ground and grabbed their target, then yeah, you can bet that they'd use that and then pull out an arrow and shoot the guy from a distance. You can bet that they'd do that, but unfortunately that doesn't exist. So what you have instead is ranged being used as a deterrent. If you watch some of the examples of period bows going up against period armor, one of the best videos of that being done by Todd from Todd's Workshop, that link will be in the description below. You can see that no arrow in the world is going to go through accurate, well-made plate armor. So we have to ask ourselves the question, what's the purpose? Why are they shooting arrows if it's not going to go through anything? And of course it's not going to go through anything. The whole point of the plate armor being there is to not be shot through. But there's a lot of other soft, squishy body parts out there. And remember, the point is not to kill people. The point is to take ground. And if you can control an area because of the fear that maybe one of those bits of wood or maybe one of those pieces of metal are going to, crack up into your skull or nick your arm or cut an artery or even give you an infection that'll kill you. They didn't exactly know what infections were, but they knew that if you got a cut, you could die. You're going to move. You're going to get out of the way and you're going to lose ground. And that's the real beauty of archery, is it allows you area denial and control of a space from a distance. That's the real power of a ranged weapon. Now, I know you want to see me shoot this a little bit more, so I'm going to do that from a distance of about 10 yards, just to show you how silly it is. And then I'll go out to 20 yards, which is a good distance for practice and some, indoor shooting. Unfortunately, I don't have an indoor space 20 yards long, but I'll do that for a couple minutes here. I'm now at a distance of 10 yards, and I am going to show you how difficult it would be for a ranged player to fight a melee player if they actually encountered each other in the real world. This is a distance of 10 yards. I'm going to draw from my quiver, which RuneScape tells us is on the back. Probably in a medieval situation, you'd probably have a loader, somebody to give you arrows, and you'd probably have your arrows down on the side. You probably wouldn't have them up on the back, but there were definitely instances of people using arrows in quivers on their back, and it's very easy to draw. There's some ridiculous videos online of people going, no medieval archer ever had them on their back.
Imagine freedom from chronic back and leg pain. No drugs, no major surgery, just long-term pain relief. Finally, chronic pain relief that's more effective than drugs.
Come on, there's paintings of them with it on their back. Like, get off it, right? So I'm going to show you for 10 yards right now. All right, so here we go. Shooting from 10 meters. This is obviously not a very far distance, and this is in no way claiming that there is not somebody out there who could draw and shoot fast enough to hit somebody at that distance, at that speed. But just to show you how difficult it is and how ridiculous it is to be shooting at something from only 10 yards away. All right, so when I say go, I'll be shooting as quickly as I can. And go. Okay, so as you can imagine, that's not very fast, right? I am not a very fast archer. The only thing that I have to say about this, as far as it being representative of a real medieval situation is that my arrows happen to be almost exactly the same length as longbow arrows found on the Mary Rose wreck. That's it. Everything else about this is purely anecdotal. This is just for fun, okay? So from the time that I first said go to the time that the first arrow struck its target, that's how long somebody had to run at me with the sword. And as you can imagine, they could have run, hit me several times, and continued to run another few feet before I ever got my shot off. So a single person at range, shooting a single person using melee, they're going to lose every time. The guy with the sword is going to win. So this is just an example of the RuneScape combat triangle working as intended. And here's an example of that 10-yard shot grouping. Not very good at all. Third arrow there managed to get a nice little center impact. But the point is, it's a man-sized target, right? This is gonna hit an upper body, so that at least is accurate. All right, I'll shoot a little bit from 20 yards. Not bad at all. All right, so one thing that I do at this distance is kind of treat this like a Vegas target, because I've already broken a few arrows by hitting the back of them Robin Hood style. So I aim for the top left, top right, and bottom right in that order. And I did a pretty decent job. We'll give it one more go, see if I can't get those a little closer for you. That was fair. That was all right. I'll show you that one. First shot right on target. Second two were low, but online. So I'm happy with that. You know, not bad. I got to push these two up a little bit, but yeah, overall, definitely okay. All right, so that's it for this weird, kind of different episode of Medieval Guy. Like I said, I do have a new episode coming out very shortly, but when I started talking about this concept while just running around in RuneScape, it didn't come off right. I didn't enjoy recording it, and I didn't like kind of the conversation that was coming out without any kind of like evidence or any kind of real world example. So I just kind of wanted to show you that, have a little discussion on it. Let me know if you'd like me to do anything else, any other kind of like tests. I am a bit of a novice archer. I'm very new at this. So if you have something you'd like me to try, just know that it is not going to be official in any way. It's purely anecdotal, just for fun, just like video games are. So if you like this, please like, subscribe, share with your friends, whatever. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time.